Okay, it's around 6:30. We'd like to start the meeting. Can we have roll call?
Mr. Sprecher,
Here?
Ms. Hallett, Ms. Ryan. Here. Mr. Mrozinski.
Here.
Okay. Before we get started, is there any public comments? Seeing none. Okay, we'll start with the approval of the minutes for last meeting. That'll be for the June 7th. And I'd like to hear a motion. We're changing our procedure a little bit. We're going to have motions before the discussions. Okay. So would anybody like to give a motion?
I'll move that we approve the minutes.
Okay. Any second?
Second.
Okay. Do we have a vote on that? Roll call vote?
Ms. Ryan. Yes. Mr. Mrozinski.
Yes. Mr.
Sprecher.
Yes. Okay, our attorney, can you give us the quasi-judicial definition?
Yes, sir. This is a quasi-judicial proceeding where the Heritage Preservation Board acts in a quasi-judicial rather than a legislative capacity. At a quasi-judicial hearing, and it's not the board's function to make law, but rather to apply law that has already been established. In a quasi-judicial hearing, the board is required by law to make findings of fact based upon the evidence presented at the meeting and apply those findings of fact to previously established criteria contained in the Code of Ordinances in order to make a legal decision regarding the application before it. The board may only consider evidence at this hearing that the law considers competent, substantial, and relevant to the issues. If the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has met the criteria established in the Code of Ordinances, then the board is required by law to find in favor of the applicant. By the same token, if the competent, substantial, and relevant evidence at the hearing demonstrates that the applicant has failed to meet the criteria established in the Code of Ordinances, then the board is required by law to find against the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Anybody that's going to be talking tonight, will you please stand to be sworn in?
Okay, raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go on to our first application. This is application 2194 for number 18 North Ring Street or Avenue. Staff, can you make a presentation?
All right, thank you. This is application for 18 North Ring LLC to place a new pergola structure and a new freestanding sign on the contributing property. The property is located again on North Ring Avenue, and it is in the city special area plan. And this kind of shows where it is in the historic district. This is frame vernacular contributing structure. That just sort of shows a survey overlay of the property with the location of the pergola and the location of the sign. This is the property itself. You all have seen this before. It's had a window replacement. I think probably a couple years ago now. So that's complete. The property's been, the residence has been painted. There's a lot of nice upgrades and restorations, maintenance of this property. I'm going to talk about the pergola first. Basically, the pergola uses wood, metal braces, stonework piers, and paver deck for materials. And it's located back on the southeast corner of the property. It's a 10 by 10 structure, about 10 feet high. And the pergola was built, the owner, I believe the applicant is here, Mr. Tanico, So he's pursuing the after-the-fact building permits now. He didn't realize, I don't think, that a permit was needed for a pergola. This is the structure, and you can see how far back it is from the front. This was just walking, from the front porch, looking back here to the back. So it's well subordinated to the main structure. Obviously, this is a 1.5 story building, and the pergola, again, is about 10 feet high. These are the materials with the stonework, paver deck, wood, and metal bracing. And as you can see, the applicant has heavily landscaped the front and the area leading to the pergola. This is just another shot of it, and this is the applicant's representation of the structure. This also shows that we have a view from Ring Avenue, which we saw before. Basically, from the street, you really don't see it unless you walk up to the property and look back there. There is also a public alley view here, but the view to the pergola is hidden by the main building itself and a non-contributing shed here on the alley. This just gives you the perspective in the backyard of this neighboring houses and their backyards. So again, heavy landscaping on that. The pergola seems to be consistent with the property and materials and subordinate to the main property, so it seems consistent with the guidelines. With respect to the sign, let me go back and kind of look at where the sign would be. It would be about 5 feet in from Ring Avenue right here on the north side of that front entry. This is a freestanding sign, of metal material with the powder-coated pole and kind of a old style projecting sign. It's not overly ornate, should fit the property well, and it's going to be about 8 feet high overall. I think I said, 8.5 feet. The sign face goes to about 6.5, from what I could tell, and all the dimensions are well within your historic district dimensional criteria. It looks to me like this is a Google Street View of the structure before, shows you how the applicant, the property owner, is maintaining and preserving this and beautifying this property. It looks like there may have been a signpost here in that proposed spot, and we'll let the applicant kind of confirm where that sign would be. There's a concrete base here, so I'm guessing it'll be in that same area. This site was referred to as the Traditions Real Estate site on the master site file form, built during boom time era, and I'm wondering if it was a commercial structure for a lot of its life, so it may have had a sign in front of it before, just another shot along the street and where you'd have the sign, so you can kind of get a perspective. And staff is recommending approval of the application for the pergola and the sign. There were no responses to the public notices. Are there any questions?
Questions?
Nope.
No. Thank you very much. Would the applicant like to come up and talk?
Hi, for the record, Tony Tanico, 18 North Ring LLC. I think Pat did a great job covering the application. I don't have much to add other than she is correct. We did not know we needed a permit for it. We are permitting other items on that property, as Pat can attest to, and certainly we didn't know that, so it is after the fact. Apologize for that. It was an honest mistake. We certainly apologize, and that won't happen again, but hopefully you all see the investment we made in the property, and certainly we're happy to be a part of the urban core and look forward to preserving the heritage on that site. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any public comments? No? Would anybody? Okay, we're going to change this.
I will make
Rest.
the motion
Okay.
to approve.
to approve?
I'll second it.
Okay. Can we have a vote on that? Anybody like to have a discussion first?
There would be discussion, but
Okay,
if
almost
anybody-
didn't. Yep, we got it.
I don't know that I want to discuss anything, but
Yeah, no, go ahead.
what I was going to say was, I know it's after the fact, and fortunately, you did, I believe, a really wonderful job on this pergola. And the sign, I think, is very tasteful, low-key. Looks like you got somebody to design it, which is nice. That's really the only comments I wanted to make.
I'd have to second that, too. Okay. So can we have a motion, we have a second? Discussion's been done. Can we have a vote?
Mr. Mrozinski,
Yes.
Ms. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Sprecher.
Yes,
Thank you.
it was tastefully done, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay. Go on to application 2195. This is 315 East Tarpon Avenue, replacement of a chain link fence with a new chain link fence.
Yes, this is at 315 East Tarpon. This property, this is a close-up of the property. Some of you may be familiar with it. This is an aerial photograph showing all the vegetation that was on the property. This is the location in the historic district. This is a frame vernacular. There is an existing chain link fence on the property, and the applicant would like to replace that fence. After I prepared the staff packet, the applicant did not submit a survey with the location of the fence, and then he did email me and sent me a written description that he would only like to replace the side yards of where the fence exists now. Not across the front, not across the back, and the applicant is present, so you can discuss that further. This is a non-contributing structure because of the alterations that were done with it. It was built in approximately 1905, and it had enclosure. The front porch is probably the biggest thing that altered it. It also has aluminum siding on it and replacement of the windows. And it's the applicant's intent to try to restore and bring this structure back. If I can get this going, it might have run out of battery. This is the property, again, at 315 East Tarpon. If you didn't know it was there before with all the trees, you would not recognize it because you never saw it when you drove by. This is going to be a real undertaking, I think, by the applicant, and very, very welcome on this section of Tarpon. This structure needs a lot of help, and it's going to lift up our main street coming into town to fix this property up. So. It's also bordered by an alley to the rear. Let me see if I can get this to work again. Okay. And of course, the guidelines that apply are the fence guidelines. This is the type of fence that the applicant is proposing. And this shows on each side of the property the fence that's there now. So this is on the west side, adjacent to this yellow building. And the applicant, I believe, is proposing a 4-foot fence height all the way along the side yard, and he can confirm that when he presents. And then this is on the east side, next to this property, again, chain link, 4 feet, all the way to the back, I believe. Just to give you some context, This is the rear of the property. Again, all cleaned up on the outside, and you can see, actually the fence doesn't go all the way to the alley. I'm standing in the alley to take this picture. So we can confirm with the applicant where the fence will be, but I believe he's just replacing what's on the sides. To the east, we have, this property does have a chain link fence around the back, and the back to the west also has a stockade fence. The east property in front doesn't have a front fence, I don't believe, and then to the west, there's like a vinyl picket with piers, like faux wood piers at the front. That shows you the fences on the adjacent properties to the rear, neither of which comply with the guidelines, stockade and chain link. And those are existing older fences. A couple more things I'd like to go through. Obviously, the coated chain link would be an upgrade to what's there now. The prominent view really is the East Tarpon view. I would say that on this block of East Tarpon, there's not a lot of front yard fencing across the front. Most of the fronts are open. You've got the smokehouse over Caddy Corner that's got the decorative piers and wrought iron. You've got a little bit of a site wall down where the winery is. The Refined Brewery and the one next to that don't have a front yard fence. So that's kind of a predominant thing. So not having the front fenced off here would kind of be consistent with that. That would be acceptable. The board may want to discuss with the applicant whether you would want to work with him on using chain link or the reason for chain link on this, or if there's some combination you would be satisfied with that you could approve. Obviously, combination is not something that meets your guidelines unless it's something you want to consider. Or what the future landscaping may be on this property. You might discuss that and see if you were to be inclined to approve this, whether there are some conditions, we can help you craft those. But staff, because this does not meet the guidelines, has recommended denial, and there were no responses to the public notices. Are there any questions?
I have one. This is longer than 50 feet, isn't it, on one side?
I'm not sure now, because I'm not sure of the linear feet of I thought it was, but we'll have to get that from the applicant.
Okay, well, I'll do that. But I seem to recall with fencing, if it was going to hit 50 feet, there had to be some sort of break or some sort of architectural
Yes.
feature, something to break up that long line.
Yeah.
Yes, and your guidelines refer, one thing it's trying to get at is a solid plane, like these vinyl fences. That's kind of one thing it's trying to get at. But what it says is walls or fences that create a long, continuous span over 50 feet shall contain some form of architectural relief, such as pattern breaks in the wall plane, use of columns, or a mix of solid and open spans. So one thing that was trying to get at was those solid vinyl fences you see everywhere, but it could be applied to this situation as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Thank you, Pat. Okay, the applicant, you can, you have the floor.
Pantelis, Master Vasilis, 58 West Center Street. First, I'd like to say that this house is gonna be from ground up restored back to its original glory. The front porches, the Dutch lap that's underneath the aluminum, the whole 9 yards, gonna be done, very nice. I chose the chain link fence. One, it has the chain link fence there, and I was looking to clean it up. And I just noticed it's kind of rough. And I feel that the chain link fence is the perfect fit there. I like things wide open. There's a street light in the back alley that at night you can see straight through. And it just, the two houses to the east are both chain link fence. I have the one on the corner that has chain link fence. And I just think that it's the perfect fit for that house, that area.
Okay.
Will there be a fence across the front?
No, there was, and it was already removed. No.
Okay, now, once you get this house done, are you gonna keep the chain link there, or are you gonna change it?
The chain link, well, we're gonna keep it. We're
Okay.
keeping it. I like the chain link fence. The west side property owner already wants me to remove his privacy fence in the back. That's the wood fence, you know, to continue the chain link all the way down there. They want everything open. You know, they like the open field down there. It's safer, better,
Okay.
you know.
How long of a run will that be on either side?
That's gonna be about 115.
Okay, and our guidelines do, you might have heard me just ask that question. Are you planning on doing anything to break up that 100-foot wall?
I wasn't familiar with that guideline, but I'd be interested to hear whatever whatever would work. I would be interested in doing something like that, sure. I'm trying not to close it up too much. I really like to, it likes to be wide open. It's just a safer, better looking thing, but whatever we can come up with, I'll be more than happy to comply. I don't know if it's maybe landscaping, is that what we're looking for? Big shrubs or what?
Well, or a, maybe some sort of column, brick column or something every 25 or 30 feet with this chain link in between it. I'm just throwing this out. I'm not giving you ideas or anything. It's just landscaping, I would think, would be one of the items that might work. I didn't mean to, did I cut you off?
No,
I'm sorry.
no,
Oh,
go.
okay.
No, you're good.
I think it would be hard for you to do landscaping and keep a privacy fence, or keeping whoever has, if they have animals or whatever, keep whatever's on side to side out, so I don't know that you could do that. But I do like the idea of, some type of column, because that is a really long span.
Well, it would get lost after about 50 feet, it goes, you wouldn't, it's not wide open.
Was there any thought to vinyl, just the 4-foot vinyl picket fence? Because it still gives you that open look.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them. I really ain't. I think the chain link that's there kind of adds to the house that was there, and I just want it replaced because I'm gonna put a lot of time and money in the house, and to have a chain link fence that's, not really up to par, I just would like the vinyl. Everybody sees them, everybody buys them, and they put them up, and everybody it screams cheap to me. I'm sorry. It just, chain link fence just kind of, it's better. I want to say that fence has to be from the 30s or 40s. I mean, it's,
It's definitely an old fence.
Yeah, if staff may be recognized.
Yeah.
I just have a couple of comments. One is, I struggled a little bit, tell you the truth, when we were redoing our guidelines on chain link fences, especially the ones you walk up and down the street and you see the gates with the old, not gargoyles, but the little, things.
farm animals.
Yeah,
the
those are
horses.
old chain link, okay, but they're still chain link. Now, we didn't change that section of our guidelines. I could suggest it could be that you ask for some type of a shrub or column, your type shrub or tree every so often. I don't know if there is a post or a, I don't know, a decorative feature between two posts that you could break up every so many feet. If you were to specify something like that, staff could work with the applicant on the building permit side to make sure that's part of the fence. I don't know if the applicant has any other
No.
suggestions as to the product, what you could suggest that you could do every so often, as far as a shrub or,
Yeah, I've never seen anything with chain links, usually
Okay.
run and then they go to privacy, but I noticed when we cleared the debris, everybody's, visually, everybody could see, and everybody's cleaning up everything, so, the chain link with, the street light in the back, you can see from front to back, it just, for that area, it just adds. If you go to the other alleys at night, it's kind of sketchy, whoever's got the, privacy fence up, and it keeps people's yards better. It's just, for that location, that thing, it hits me with the chain link fence. If we want to go with some shrubs, like add shrubs to hide it, that's absolute, no problem on that.
yeah, it could be not the whole way or not every post, but every however many feet, few feet,
The question I have, or
just suggestion.
the concern I have is going all the way out to the street, okay? Granted, there's a couple houses in that area right next to you that do have chain links all the way out to the street. But that's the only place on Tarpon Avenue where you have that. When you go down further, there's businesses, but there's no chain link fence. In fact, there's no real boundaries between the lots as you go further, for most of it. So I'm wondering, rather than having it all away, would you entertain bringing it back maybe 50 feet or something like that?
I wouldn't have no problem. The problem that one of the neighbors might have, and, it's kind of questionable whose fence it is. They're happy to let me replace it all, but I don't know, maybe we can discuss it with them. I don't see a problem with that at all, bringing it back 15 feet.
Well,
That's-
I'm thinking almost to the house, so you have it, you're looking for something open. I got no problem with in the back having chain link, but on the street, nothing opens it up more than not having a fence at all, And I think that's what we're seeing with most of the area, the streets, particularly Tarpon Avenue. You're not having those fences all the way down. They're opening it up, which tends to, like you say, it opens it up and makes it look better. So if you had to go to talk to your neighbors about that, I know I'm asking you, thinking, working on your feet, thinking on your feet. What do you think?
The one neighbor next to me that has the front vinyl, he would probably go ahead and put vinyl to finish it off. So we
Okay.
would lose the chain link and we would have vinyl, because he parks cars too in the front. He's the only one that parks in the front. So I think it would really just, the vinyl to me is, I think if we went back to 50 feet, I think it would cause him to put up a fence, which more than likely he would, and then
Yeah.
now we're looking at a whole white vinyl fence along the side instead of the chain link.
How about the other side?
The other side, that's 6 apartments. I'm not sure what the owner would feel. I think he might want some kind of barrier there, but I do like the 20-foot back. I mean, that really, that way you're driving by, it kind of keeps it way off.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. But,
Would you want to have
the
time to-
neighbor are kind of just relying on me to put a new fence for him.
You only have 3 people here right now. You need 3 yeses. Okay. Would you want to, or would you want to go back to your neighbors and talk to them and see what they think and come back, or?
What do we, yeah.
What do we call this now?
Are we talking about bringing the fence back to the 50 feet? Well, I know that the one was always talking about putting up a new fence. And he went with vinyl in the front. So more than likely, you're gonna see vinyl along the back end there.
Okay, and
So-
that's-
and that's-
he's
we're
already
trying to
got a
avoid
front on
that.
there anyhow.
I'm sorry?
He's already got a front
He's got the front, yeah.
on that.
I don't know how long that was done, but that to me is just,
Yeah.
it just doesn't look good. If the chain link fence is there, tweaking it, fixing it up, and just letting it be, once you see what I do to the house, everybody's gonna say, well, what the hell happened to the chain link fence? Why didn't you put it something nice and clean and new? I mean, that's,
Yeah.
so,
Do you know about how far the house is back from the sidewalk?
I think we're about 40
Yeah, it seems about that far.
feet.
Yeah.
40 feet.
It's a good
There's
ways.
gonna be, a nice brick walkway, landscapes. I mean, it's gonna be done up real nice.
Okay,
Well,
do we have a motion?
two. What?
Well, that's the motion. Let's see. Is it discussed? Are we done?
Oh, that's right, we need a motion just to discuss it.
Yes,
Yes.
Right.
we're going that route.
And I could make a motion to approve and vote a different way. Correct?
Oh, yeah.
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 And then I'm just making the motion so we can discuss it. So I'll make
Okay.
a motion. Do I have to actually say that I approve
You can make a motion to deny, you can make a motion to
to
approve.
discuss? We're just going to
No,
be
no.
You
discussing.
can actually make a motion to deny, get a second and discuss it, and then
And
approve
still
it.
change my?
Yes,
All right,
as
well,
long
I'm
as there's
going
a
to
motion
vote.
made.
I'm going to make a motion to deny, just to
Okay.
get a discussion going.
Okay,
But somebody has to second that.
I'll second it, but I think we can come up with maybe a solution.
I think
do
we can
too.
too.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I do appreciate the work that's being done on it, and he could just leave it, and then it looks
Right.
like it looks.
Right.
yeah,
I like the idea of maybe coming back 20 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I also like the idea of, if it's 50 feet, could you put a 4-foot column in the middle, like a brick column or something, just to break it up, so it gives it more of a architectural feature, then we're not in violation of the 50-foot rule.
Right, right.
And then, I think that it's, the fence either way, I mean, it's there today.
yeah.
And the black does look better, but I do think it would look nice if you could break it up somehow. But I hate to see landscape, because then we end up back where we were, where
Yeah.
you couldn't see the house. Because when you opened it up, I'm like, I didn't even realize there was a house there.
I know, it really is a neat house.
There was also a koi pond with big fish that nobody knew
Oh,
that
wow.
was there for long, but I saved the fish. Everybody got good fish. But, yeah, that was a pretty,
We talk about what's appropriate, and my first thought was that a chain link fence would not be appropriate to a 1905 house. So I actually did a little research, and the first chain link fence was actually done in 1841 in England, and it was brought here to the States in around 1881. I forget the guy that manufactured, but he's been making fences, or I don't know if his company, maybe his company is still making those fences. So I think a case could be made that chain link actually is appropriate for a 1905 house, since the fencing has been around. I would tend to, approve this if we did have that 20-foot, 50 feet is already past the house.
Yeah,
The house is
20 foot
40
sounds good,
feet.
yeah.
Maybe we could even go, if you're saying 40 feet, maybe it's 45 feet, maybe it's 35 feet. Maybe we could say half the distance of what the house is to the sidewalk is where it would be started. Does that sound fair? I like that it's black, it will sort of disappear. And again, to stick with that 50-foot rule, which I really think we need to, I really do, there has to be something to break that up at that 50-foot
Well-
section, or distance, whether it's, again, a little column, or what did you suggest, some plant, no, you don't want plantings.
I like plants.
I know you
just-
do.
As long, it depends on the type of plants, and we can't tell him that, so.
One thing I want to point out, that if you go with a 50-foot rule, you start in front. If he backs it up 20 feet, you're going to be in the backyard.
You're gonna be somewhere in the middle of the house.
Yeah, so,
Where you get to the 50 feet?
yeah, so,
It would-
you know, if it's in the backyard, I don't think we need,
I see what you're saying.
see,
Well,
you know, if we're only 20 foot to the house,
He's got a lot of
it
big
would be
trees on
30
that line
feet
too.
then, you're right. And
Yeah.
the house is probably not much longer than 30 feet, if that.
yeah.
So you're probably right.
Yeah, so if we approve it, I think on the one, okay, where he has a fence all the way down, his own fence, that's already there. I mean, that one is in the open, it can be pushed back. The other one, I'm listening, and if you want to keep it open, you don't want to pull it back because there's that fence there already.
Right.
The other one, what do you call it, vinyl fence. No? So it would probably look all right on that side, all the way down.
And, yeah, right, okay, unless you started from the back and brought the 50 feet coming from the back where there has to be something.
Oh, no, the best place to start is in the front.
Well,
If
50 feet is 50 feet, I
Yeah,
guess. It's
you
a
know,
50-foot
it's-
run.
Staff may be recognized. One suggestion might be, I heard two proposals for the front, 20 feet back from the street, or half of the existing front setback. You could ask the applicant if he could start with some, I don't know what the steps of the existing residence look like, if there are stone piers, brick piers, if he could start with some sort of pier,
Right,
connect the chain link to that, and then just go back with the
Right.
chain.
I
So when
was
you're
thinking
walking
of
by
that.
the front, you see the two piers.
right.
Is that something,
Something that may work with what you've got planned for the house, whether if it's some
could be wood
columns
or
or something.
brick or-
No, I have no problem with that. That would be something that I could do.
Okay.
It's still going to be a little tricky on the west side.
Well, the west
Because
side,
he does have the parking, and
Okay.
it's just going to look a little,
yeah, the west side is different because you already have a fence next door that goes out to the street.
both
Okay.
sides currently have fence all the way to the street.
Yeah, but this one, it's a, you know, vinyl fence. It's very solid across the front.
What
So-
are you doing? You said you're gonna restore the porch?
Yeah, bringing back the porch, yes.
What are you using?
It currently has columns underneath that
Wood
facade,
columns.
yeah. Craftsman style, so it'd be a wood, and they really have some nice ones that would be replicated if they're too far gone. But it would stick with what they did in 1906.
I was just trying to figure out if you were doing something in any kind of masonry that could tie back to the fence, then you could do the chain link, as long as you could break it up. Maybe you start with the masonry column at the front, if you're going all the way to this, you know, to where it is today. Start with a nice masonry column, and then run your chain link, the 50 feet masonry column, run the chain link. Then you'd have to just put in, what, 6,
Yep.
3 and 3?
If it's 100 feet,
Yeah, 3 and 3, but
yeah,
in the back,
One in
is it really necessary for the back of the
actually-
house when you
Probably
can't see it?
not.
two, probably
No, maybe
two
not
on
in the
either
back.
side.
So
The
then
back, I
4
don't think so.
columns.
If you're starting at the curb, probably
You
two
start
on
at the
either
curb,
side.
Yeah,
or maybe it's something that anchors it,
anchors it.
just at the front, so that it doesn't look like,
Well, that's all right for the east one. The west one is what I would like to talk about, because they've got an existing fence and tying it, chain link all the way up to the front,
but it's
to
there,
that existing.
it's there now, though,
Yeah, no, but
yeah.
do you have on his neighbor's side, he's got a fence across the front.
Yeah, they do,
Okay.
that little white picket fence.
Yeah, so if he backs that one up, it's gonna look kinda goofy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I was suggesting if you took it to the street with
All the way
something
to
that,
the street.
Yeah, all the
Anchors
way
it
to
to
the
the
street on
front.
that side, and then back it off on the other.
I
Because
think,
have to agree with you. If you take your chain link fence away, they'll probably put a
So,
They'll
picket
come back
fence
with
there.
a vinyl fence.
They're gonna
to
go
fill
the
that
cheapest
hole.
route,
but I
vinyl
think
fence.
if you're saying it's okay to have it come to the sidewalk on one side, I think it should be on the other side too. I think it'll look kind of funny, one forward and one back, instead of both front.
Oh, okay.
I don't
We,
know,
we,
it's just
you know,
a
I
thought.
could put some shrubs, which we're planning on doing some nice landscaping to kind of cover it up where you see green shrubs and the black chain link is behind it.
Yeah,
I mean, that'll look real good.
okay.
If you do a podocarpus, you can literally shape it into a column.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so you need to actually vote on the motion, so if
Yeah, we
you
have to
no
vote on the
longer,
motion.
someone need to vote on the motion to deny, and then if that does not pass, someone can propose a new motion.
Oh,
okay, there you go.
Yeah, please
Okay.
deny my motion.
Okay, can we have a vote on the,
What, so how are we,
It would be, no, would be the correct vote. If we wanted it
You
to
do,
deny.
you are
it-
not agreeing, it does get funny.
if,
Yes,
No on the denial. You're voting no to deny.
okay, then we have another motion for
Okay.
accepting.
yeah.
And then, okay,
okay,
okay.
so I would make the motion to.
No, we need to vote, there's already a motion, so we need to take a
The
vote.
second,
So we're voting, you're not
Oh, we're
making a
voting?
motion.
Yeah,
We're
we
voting.
need to take a
Actually, you're
vote on the
voting on
motion.
my
to-
motion, which was to deny. So you don't want to deny it.
No, I don't.
okay.
Mr.
So how is the
Mrozinski?
vote? A yes or a no?
If you do not want to deny it, you would vote no.
That's a no vote.
No, no. They want to deny my vote, my motion.
But your motion, okay, so your motion is to deny the application.
Deny the application.
They don't want to deny the application,
Correct.
so they do not agree with your vote, so
Correct.
no.
So it's a no vote?
Yes.
All right,
Mr. Mrozinski,
it's a no vote. No.
Okay, can we have a,
Did-
Ms. Ryan,
No,
Mr. Sprecher,
no.
Now someone gets to craft a new motion to approve or deny, and if you want to approve with conditions like
With
you've discussed, then you need
Okay.
Do you
to
want to make that motion?
articulate that.
Can I make a motion?
yeah,
You-
please.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
You get to
No,
vote,
I'm
but you don't get to
sorry.
make your second.
So
You-
give me your,
I think what you're saying is it would look kind of goofy, one all the way down, one not. Okay. So
I think you have to go to the street.
Huh.
I think you have to go where it is existing today because of the other side of fence. Because either that or you're gonna have to put two different materials on
Yeah.
the same run.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay. Okay, so we'd make a motion to, as is?
Okay. You mean where it is placed right now?
No,
And it is to the street, or
It
to the
is
sidewalk?
to the sidewalk.
And it's not across the front? But it isn't across the front now, right?
Yeah, right.
There is nothing across the front now?
Nothing, no, I removed it.
It was only down the sides.
Yeah.
Philip, and then adding some type of anchor, whether it's a piece of landscape to break up every 50 feet.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the fence in the position that it is now with some architectural or landscape feature to break up that 50 feet section, starting at the front.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. Second?
Does that make sense?
now you need a second,
I will second that.
and now you can take a vote, unless you want to discuss it further.
Okay, I think we're pretty much in agreement. We can have a vote?
Mr. Mrozinski,
Yes.
Ms. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Sprecher.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, you got all of that?
Are you writing?
Yeah. Well, you'll get a letter with your motion.
All right, thank
yeah,
you.
and- Yeah, well,
Thank you, guys.
Okay. You have any comments, Ben?
no, thanks.
Huh?
No.
No? Okay. Board, you guys got any comments?
No.
Okay. Then it's adjourned. This meeting's adjourned at 7:14.
Okay,
Thank you guys very much.
good job.
No, you guys did good. Turn me around, I was gonna deny it.